Jordache has no idea what a snack look like if he thinks that Becca looks like a snack. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of Hate Watch the Bachelorette with me. This is episode 5, and let's jump right into it, girls. Okay, so when we first start off this episode, the guys have moved on from Utah to Las Vegas. Everyone is excited. They're staying in a beautiful, like, presidential suite with a gym, with an elevator. They take us all around. Everyone's happy. Becca is wearing an outfit that has a little bit too much sparkle. Whoever is styling her really loves to give her sparkles and textures because every single outfit she wore in this episode, I have a critique. Either it was too big or it was too sparkly. So we first start off with a one-on-one with Colton, and they rode camels, even though it was a little chilly, and camels in Vegas seems weird, but they were in Vegas probably in March or April, so early spring, late winter in Vegas, and they ended up in a hot tub, the way sometimes one-on-ones end up in hot tubs. You know? Then next, there was a group date announcement, and they named all the people who were going to be in the group date, and who was left out but Jordan and David. So Jordache and Chicken David ended up going on a one-on-one with Becca that ended up disastrous, as we all knew it would, and so did ABC. They set this up to be this way, and it ended up being exactly what we thought it was going to be. So she's ending her one-on-one date with Colton after the hot tub. They have their dinner. Colton is just so hot, you guys. Who cares about Tia? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if he really was there for Tia at this point, who bloody cares? Because Colton is hot, okay? I just can't. He is the best looking guy there in my opinion. Well, no, Will's. Who girl? Will's. Colton ends up telling her that he's only been in love one time, and it ended up in pain because his girlfriend ended up breaking up with him. But he wanted to assure her that because he'd only been in love one time doesn't mean that his heart is not open to being in love again. And I thought to myself, the less times a man has been in love is better. I value that more because that means that you're just not like, you're careful with your heart and you're looking for somebody who's right for you. So I'm okay with him only having been in love one time. Ended up with a good date, and they love to tickle each other's fingers, and we got a lot of shots of them tickling each other's fingers while having conversation, and it was just like, ooh. So then we move on to her group date with the guys, and they go to a beautiful palatial home. I mean, it's beautiful. It's gold. It's everything I want it to be. And then as you get in a little closer, you realize it's gold and tacky, but still kind of everything you, or at least I, want it to be. And it happens to be Wayne Newton's house. Why do they keep on bringing in old singer-songwriters? Little John, that guy who sang that song that one time, and Wayne Newton. So Wayne Newton, I don't know that I've ever actually seen this man, but I was terrified. Does he have a glass eye? Like, what is going on? I had to look up his entire, like, history. I mean, most of the time I didn't even watch the segment with him in it. As soon as he rode up on that horse, I was like, there is something going on here. So I just Googled him and was like, fell deep into Wayne Newton last night because I was so confused. I feel like they were like, Wayne, can we come to your house? He was like, only if I can ride up on a horse. My Arabian horses that I breed. So anyways, they get there, and Wayne Newton sings to his wife. Yeah. Again, the challenge is to come up with a song and write it for Becca based on the melody of Donkey Shane. Chris is like, ooh, I know exactly what I'm in for, and I've got a leg up on the competition. Yeah, yeah. So all the guys are excited. Wayne Newton goes around and tries to like help them with their songs. They're all terrible. And I'm actually shocked that not one of them can sing. I'm like, not one of you guys out of the like, however 15 many there are, not one of you can sing? That's so weird. The one thing that distracted me besides Wayne Newton's face during this segment was Will's outfit. Like, he's kind of fashion forward, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like got flavor, his style. He definitely was there with a two-piece, like a matching set, patterned outfit with black socks and gray shoes. If I can find a picture, I'll put it in, but it is hilarious. I'm like, okay, Wills. He is just like making fashion statements, and I'm kind of here for it. All right, so later on in the evening, their challenge is then to take that song and sing it to Shein, as I mentioned before. So they're in front of an audience. Wayne is there. Wayne introduces them, and each guy gets on the stage. They're in their tux with their bow ties, and they sing their version or verse of Shein to Becca, and they're all terrible. The one person at the end, though, who like kind of does the best job is Chris. Chris plays the crowd. He's moving around. He got off the stage, and everyone is really into it, and by the end of it, people stand up. But throughout everyone else's performance, people are like covering their ears, rolling their eyes, like covering their mouths. They don't want to laugh. It's like they're all like just terrible, terrible performances. But anyway, so we give them A for effort, and they were all being good sports, and it was fun. So later on, Becca is wearing like this, again, sparkly pink dress, strappy. It was very 90s. I wasn't into it. So she pulls each of the guys aside, and she has a conversation with them, and Blake gets like 45 minutes or something like that, and everybody's remarking on it, and everybody goes and talks to Becca and makes an effort, except for Chris, because Chris thinks that he's got it in the bag. Chris thinks that he's done it, and he's waiting for Becca to come to him. And so when Becca doesn't come to him because they've run out of time and it's time to go, he's a little like taken aback. And he all of a sudden gets all hoity-toity like he's the Bachelor and wants to know why she didn't seek him out. And it's obvious that she doesn't like him because she didn't seek him out. And everyone around him is just like, no, dude, you're supposed to go find her. You're supposed to volunteer for her. Like, you're not the Bachelor. And he's like, no, I killed it. No, that performance, I killed it like a Highlander. Like, she should come to me. And I'm just like, no, Chris. It was just a lot of vibrato, and he thought he had like done it, and he had not done none of it. So then the next day she has her 2-on-1 with Jordache and Chicken George, and it is a hot mess. First of all, let's start out with her outfit. She looked like some girl I would see on the 2 or on the 6 going uptown. Like, she had her Brooklyn Timbs on. She had some booty shorts that weren't booty shorts, that were way too baggy in the butt for her. And like a top, and they're in the desert. It was just too much. Like, it was too urban, and she's not urban. She's just like real, like, they should just put her in like something else. I just feel like, why was she in urban wear? Like, does Becca read urban to you? No, Becca reads, if anything, country. So why didn't she have a cowboy hat on and some cowboy boots? Pants were baggy. Who has on baggy cutoff jean shorts? Becca. So, anywho, so she's there with the guys in the deserts. They're by mesas. It's really picturesque. It looks beautiful. It looks like Arizona, Utah, like all those like desert places. And they're in a like tent that's to die for. And she has a one-on-one with David. And David pulls her aside, and instead of like talking about her and him and their relationship, he launches in about how Jordache isn't there for the right reasons. How Jordache was saying that while they were walking through the casino, he had to fend off ladies, and that basically he was settling for Becca, and just all this stuff that was just such... It was lies. I mean, he like manipulated situations that happened and turned them around and just lied to Becca. And the biggest lie was telling her that Jordan felt that him being with Becca would have been him settling because of all the models that he wanted to date. And I thought, how hurtful and shitty is that to say? Like, let's take Jordache out of the picture. Why would you tell a girl that you're wooing that someone else thinks that she's second rate? David is callous and just shady AF. So anyways, this puts Becca in a very crazy mood. She then talks to Jordache and then tells Jordache what happened. And Jordache is like, no, none of that happened. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. That's an absolute lie. And what I wanted to come here to talk to you about was me. And Jordache reveals some very personal things. Jordan talks about his father and how he looks up to his father because his father stayed and took care of his mother who had multiple mental issues, and that he knows what love feels like, and that he comes from nothing, and that he's all about working hard and building up who he is to be the best that he could be. And he really does like Becca and all this stuff. And I'm endeared to him at this point. Like, before he got on my nerves, and I thought like, oh my God, it's just shtick. But I secretly kind of thought that Jordache was somebody who didn't have much growing up and had a lot of adversity growing up, and him using the words that he uses, him with the vibrato and the like very close attention to detail when it comes to modeling, and his face and the way he dresses, is all sort of an armor or a facade that protects him from the upbringing that he had, that kind of separates from the discord and the dysfunction that he was probably raised in. Because no matter how loving people can be, if you have someone in your family, a parent who has a mental illness, it affects everyone in very dramatic ways. She ends up kicking David off in that moment and doesn't give the rose to anybody, but does go off and have dinner with Jordache, who was ecstatic as they drive away, leaving David there at the cabana on top of that mesa. Like he's just like, yes, I won. So they get to dinner. And Jordache starts to talk about himself and how he loves pampering himself and he feels like it's something that you have to do and it's maintenance and he's very meticulous about it. And the conversation just kind of veers off about him and Becca's not into it. She's just like, you know what, I really tried for this guy. He makes me laugh. He's funny every time I'm with him, but it's not something that's going to be there in the long run. And Jordan is blindsided. He thought he was in. Like, he thought he was in. And she sends him home, and he gives her a hug, and he's cordial about it. The guys back at the hotel, when they see David's bag leave, they're like, oh. And then later on, when they see Jordache's bag leave, they're like, oh. Like, so she let both of them go, which is what I needed her to do from, like, the third week. Let them go. And now she's whittling it down to people that I think she has more of a connection with. Side note, I don't really like Connor and I'm ready for him to go, but like, he looks cute with his glasses on. Jordan also makes a comment that Becca looks like a snack in her desert outfit. And I was just like, what do you mean a snack? What do you even know about a snack? You don't know what a snack is, Jordan. You ain't never seen a snack if you think Becca looks like a snack. Okay, so then we jump forward to the cocktail hour and they're all milling around. It's a considerably less men and they all have more time with Becca, and Chris has his time with Becca and Becca just pulls him aside because she's like, hey, so I wanted to talk about the other night. And he's like, I wanted to talk about the other night. And they were like, high five, we both wanted to talk about the other night. So Becca was just like, what happened? Like, why didn't you come and find me? And he's like, I was thinking the same thing. Why didn't you come and find me? Like, I felt like you didn't like me, and you know, that was very clear. And she was like, well, I was told that because of that you wanted to go home. And he's shocked. And he's like, well, no, if I wanted to go home, I would have left. That's not the right answer, Chris. You don't say that to somebody. If I wanted to go home, I would have left. Chris is so insecure because he's like, doesn't want her to not pick him. He would rather leave the show. That is so stupid. And the only reason you're thinking of leaving the show is because you think she's not going to pick you. It's not because it's organic. It's because you don't want to be rejected first. She needs to kick Chris off. And I think she would have honestly kicked him off had she not already kicked off too many guys. Like, because she did the double elimination with Jordache and Chicken George, she could not kick Chris off. But if I were her, I would have, because that reaction, that response was very hoity-toity and too much for this process. Like, he is not the Bachelor. He is a contestant on The Bachelorette. It is not his show. It is her show. And she's trying to get him to get deeper into it and talk about his insecurity, but he won't. He just keeps on saying like, well, I made the decision to stay, so whatever else that you heard was dumb because obviously I'm still here. I'm just like, come on, dude. She's like, all right, well then I guess that's it. That's all we need to say to each other. And she walks away to go meet with another guy and he's stewing about it and thinking about the conversation and realized that he made a mistake and whatever. And so Chris then decides to take another opportunity with Becca. So he finds her and she's with Wills and he walks up and he's like, Wills, can I borrow her for a second? And Wills is just like, and Becca's just like, no, I'm with him. We just sat down. And Chris persists and he's like, no, I just really need to talk to you. We weren't done having our conversation. And Becca's like, no, we just sat down. Wills and Becca are both like, yeah, we literally just sat down for 2 minutes. Like, this is not the beginning. This is not like, 4 weeks ago. This is now where there's less people and we get more time to talk. Like, no. I think that there might be some kind of rule where the guys can't say no when somebody comes to interrupt, but I think it's a dumb rule. So anyways, Will then chooses to get up and let Chris have a couple of minutes with Becca. And he says, 2 minutes, bro, and I'm coming back. So Wills gets up in his suit, which I think is cute. He looks great, and he walks away. And I'm a little like, if I were Wills, I wouldn't have gotten up and left because you never know how Becca would take that. Some bachelorettes would have been a little bit like, well, he got up. That means he doesn't really like me. And so right now you're at the point when like any little move you make can be seen as like dissension, can be seen as like, oh, you don't like me. So I think Wills realizes that and he comes back. I'm not sure if he comes back after the 2 minutes. Chris R says that he only came back after 40 seconds. I don't care. He came back and he's like, bro, get up. And Chris R is like, no, I'm not done yet. I really need to say what I need to say. And Wills is like, no, I already gave you your opportunity. Move. Get up. It's time to go. Come on, bro. And Chris R keeps on pushing back. He's like, no, I really want to talk. I really want to talk to her if you give me this time. And I'm just like, this is a competition, Chris. What do you think? Wills is not going to back down to give you time. Snooze, you lose, bro. You did this to yourself. They all watched you spiral the other night, and they are now not going to give you the opportunity to make that up. That's your bad. And said something you should not have said that got back to Becca. That is not Will's fault, and it's not Will's job to help you out in this situation. So anyways, Wills is like, nah, get up. It's over. And Becca comes to the aid of Wills and is like, Chris, I will find you later on. Go on ahead. It's okay. And he's like, no. And she's like, I said I would find you later on. And Wills is like, yeah, bro, get up. And Chris is like, no. And Becca's like, I keep my word. I said that I would find you later on. Get up. And Wills is like, get up. And Chris is just like, really, guys? Both people were like, bro, peace out, homie. And he was like, no. No, nobody wants me to talk. It's not fair. I already got my opportunity, but I want more opportunity because I messed up during my opportunity. More time for me. It was just so stupid. And Becca was just like, yeah, bye. And so her and Will sit back down, and Will's is like, okay. Calm, back to being calm. And her and Wills go on about their date, and Chris scampers away with his tail between his legs, as he should. So then they cut to Wills being done with his conversation with Becca, all the guys sitting around. Wills like sitting down with the guys and smiling at Chris, like, you know, it's all good, bro, like whatever. And Chris is like, look, I didn't mean to upset you. And Will's like, I'm not upset. And he's like, well, obviously you are, because, and Wills is like, no, I'm not upset. I got my time with her. You and I had our thing where we had it, and let's just leave it there. And Chris is like, no, but you don't understand my position. And Will's just like, I don't have to understand your position. I'm good. Like, I'm fine. We don't have to talk about this. It's okay. I got my time with Becca. Like, we had a little snafu. I gave you your opportunity, your 2 minutes. Well, you didn't give me enough time. It doesn't matter. That was my opportunity. And then Chris tries to, like, go on about how Wills is upset, and, like, he didn't mean to upset anybody. And Wills just gets up and leaves, because it is definitely turning into deciding that a black person is upset about something, and therefore the aggressor. So Wills is not taking the bait. He's like, look, I already told you I'm cool. I'm gonna get up now and go. Deuces. I'm just like, dang, Chris. And then it's quiet, and Garrett is like, look, I have to defend Wills on this. Like, you need to understand. And Chris goes on the defensive. And then Connor's like, wait, we understand where you're coming from, but we all have our time. You had your time with her. You can't have more time. And he's like, no, but my situation is special. And they're like, no, it's not, bro. It's not. You messed your situation up. You did that. So then later on, Becca pulls Chris aside, and they have another conversation, and he still isn't convincing her. He talks about his insecurities, but at this point, she's over it based on his behavior. And like, Chris is shook. He doesn't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know if he's going to be there tomorrow. Like, he doesn't know if he's going to get a rose. Like, he's very, very worried. And all it is because he spiraled. And now he's crying in front of the confessional cameras, talking about he did everything he could and put everything out there for Becca. And I'm like, yeah, except for get all hoity-toity when she didn't come and find you after you thought you did a stellar performance. Like, no. Continue to play the game and relax. He messed up. He absolutely messed up. Anyways, at the end of it, Becca only sends John home, and it sucks because, like, to me, he has the most earning potential, and he's cute, like, you know, but maybe she just didn't feel that kinetic energy with him, because she obviously feels the kinetic energy with a couple of guys, Wills, Blake, and Colton. I honestly think this is her top 3. I think it's going to be Blake, Colton, and Wills, top 3. I'm calling that. The other 2, I don't know. Connor could come up and do something. Leo could come up and do something. I don't know, like, who those other 2 are. I thought David was going to make it, but he turned out to be a master manipulator. I thought John was going to make it, and she cut him this episode. So I think it's really up between... Oh, Garrett. I think Garrett is there too. It's really up between Leo and Connor for that 5th spot. I have no idea what's going to end up happening. None. Let's just say Colton, Wills, Blake, Garrett, and one person that remains to be seen. I don't have any idea. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. Let's have a conversation down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode, and that is it. All right, have a fantastic day. Bye. Low-key, though, I just want Wills for me. Like, I don't think Becca deserves Will. Like, he's too suave. Like, he's too, like, his, like, energy is too, like, ooh. And he's a nerd, too. Ooh.